Well, we've reached budget time again. It's a month earlier than normal because the government has indicated that it's likely that they'll be going to the polls on May 11. So this budget will be a very important document from the perspective of the government to try and close some of the gap that has opened up between it and the opposition in terms of the polls. So the starting point is going to be the fiscal position that the government will announce. Now bear in mind that the last time we saw fiscal estimates, it was for a deficit of $5.2 billion in 2018-19, a surplus of around $4 billion in 1920, building to a surplus of around $12 billion in 2021. So this is the government's really strong play that they are going to finally move the budget back into surplus, the first time since 2007, when of course there was a change of government from the coalition to the ALP. The government will also have some other positive surprises because the budget this year has been running well ahead of expectations. So if they don't do anything in terms of a policy change for 18-19, we expect that they could announce a deficit of only $2.2 billion compared to the deficit announced in December of $5.2 billion. But let's put that to one side. Secondly, we expect that if they were not to do any other policy changes in 1920, they could talk about a surplus of around $9 billion compared to the $4 billion that was announced back in December. That gives them $5 billion, and of course they will use that $5 billion for new policy. We expect that most of the emphasis will be on tax cuts, with the potential for some direct payments. So it's possible that they could try and put together a policy mix that would allow them to pay out that $3 billion that they're going to improve the position on in 18-19, although being able to enact legislation to confirm that payment in this sitting is going to be difficult. It's more likely that they'll probably focus more on the $5 billion that they have an improved position for 19-20. And bear in mind, back in December when we saw the last MyEFO, the last fiscal update, the government pointed out that they had $2.5 billion that was allocated to be used in this budget but hadn't actually been nominated. So we now have $5 billion of extra spending that's possible, plus another $2.5 billion. That's $7.5 billion.